eat another apple, not one more apple, not one more bite. He was sick of apples, sick of the sticky, sweet crunch of the things, tired of spitting out seeds, tired of eating them with skins and without skins, worn out with winding off the stems and unwinding the peels and long spirals with help from his pocket knife. An ache had developed along his ribs from polishing apples on the fabric of his shirt before taking another juice-spattering bite of just one more apple. More than eating apples, C.H. was sick of sitting under this apple tree. Sitting and waiting and eating apples, he was uncertain what he was waiting for. He had no idea what kept him under this apple tree for what seemed like moments, but felt like the passing of years. Seasons never changed. Time seemed to pass, but C.H. didn't age. No. He remained a young man sitting under a tree filled with forever ripe apples, always in the shade of never-ending noon. He'd sit and eat apples until he could eat no more. Then, still chewing the last bite, he'd stand and he'd stretch and he'd flex his young muscles. Oh, and he tried to twist the leg out of his back and rubbing his belly to help digest the apples. And he looked like a man ready to walk on, yet he could recall no destination. Chunking the apple core, C.H. looked around, hoping something would remind him where he was supposed to go. He looked until seeing an empty swing, a wooden plank tied by 2 ropes to the limb of another tree just across the way. And without knowing why, C.H. would stare at that swing for a long time. An empty swing moved only by the occasional breeze and nothing more. There was something more to that swing, though. He wasn't sure, however, what that something might be. It was enough for C.H. to sit down again under the apple tree, and though he was sick of eating apples, C.H. would pick up another from the ground, polish the apple skin on his shirt, and take a deep crescent bite. Now often he'd doze sitting under the tree, and in sleep he'd have the most amazing dreams. Visions of trains and railroads crisscrossed his sleeping mind as surely as they lined the nation. He'd dream of eating foods other than apples, many dishes he could cover with pepper. If only he had a pepper shaker to break up the monotony of these apples. He'd think this just below the surface of his dreaming. And children in his dreams. Children grew before his eyes, a boy and 2 girls, and then a handful of grandchildren. And C.H. would see a life in the eyes of his dreams, but even in these dreams, something was missing. Someone. And as a face took shape and a name formed, C.H. would wake again under the lunchtime shade of his apple tree, and the face and name vanished, evaporating along with the other details of his dreams. And in those moments, C.H. felt a hard loneliness, an emptiness that stretched from his soul to his body and back again. There was nothing to do for it but eat more apples until he was full of something, anything, to take his mind away from the despair of a warm, sunny afternoon under the shade of a ripe apple tree. And so it went, until he heard a faint squeak, like something twisting. That and a gurgling sound. A familiar noise, but so long since C.H. had heard such a thing that it took him a moment to recognize the sound of girlish giggling. And then he saw her, a blonde girl pop in and out of his sight as she swung back and forth on the nearby swing. And she would swing forward, looking anywhere but at him when he could see her. Then when she vanished from his view, he'd hear the giggling again. And she was the most beautiful, unexpected, expected thing he'd ever seen. And in the past tense, he found himself saying, it was like Adam meeting Eve. And of course, he wasn't Adam. And Eve, C.H. found himself saying her name is Hazel. This was how C.H. had not had met Hazel so many years earlier, and it was how they were again reunited after so many years apart. As young as they'd been back then, restored in both health and spirit and memory of all that had passed. With an eternity to spend together, now in a place where apples are always ripe, where the sun always lulls in a lunchtime pose, where the old are forever young, and where no one ever dies. That's for Cecil H. Terry, 1907 to 1991, and Hazel Terry, 1913 to 2008. Those are my grandparents.